Hello, America. Today I want to talk to you about something very important: terrorism, technology, and privacy. Albert Einstein once said, "It has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity." Are we going too far? How far is too far? Some of the pros are security, safety, and research. Some of the cons are loss of privacy and freedom. Terrorism, in its raw form, is a tactic used to force a way of thinking through fear or retribution. Privacy is simply someone else's business. Technology has changed since the 9/11 attacks on the two World Trade Center buildings. There has been a struggle between fighting terrorism at home and the privacy of the American people. We have looked for many solutions, but seem to have only one really effective tactic against terrorism, and that is collecting information. This collection of information is often saved, stored, and accessed and managed by our government. It is affectionately known as big data. It's like a big brother, only funny looking and it wears a pocket protector. The question I ask is the loss or the invasion of our privacy worth the cost to our American way of life? Do we fully understand what we will lose in the future? My first point is we need security. Brian Michael Jenkins, director of MTI's National Transportation Safety and Security Center and counterterrorism expert, said the United States is also back at war, leading a bombing campaign directed at ISIL and other jihadist groups, which will inevitably inspire some to take up the jihadist cause and increase the threat of retaliatory terrorist attacks. Although the size of the residual forces is being revised, the scheduled withdrawal of American forces from Afghanistan risks a Taliban resurgence and possible al-Qaeda return. Furthermore, he said, ISIL's declaration of an Islamic State has excited and emboldened Islamic extremists worldwide, injecting new spirit into individuals who disengaged from terrorist activities years ago. On March 1st, 2012, Robert S. Mueller, then director of the FBI, stated this about the threat of terrorism and the use of technology. Terrorists are increasingly cyber savvy. Much like every other multinational organization, they are using the internet to grow their business and to connect with the like-minded individuals, and they are not hiding in the shadows of cyberspace. Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula has produced a full-color English-language online magazine. They are not only sharing ideas, they are soliciting information and inviting recruits to join Al-Qaeda. Al-Shabaab, the Al-Qaeda affiliate in Somalia, has its own Twitter account. Al-Shabaab uses it to taunt its enemies in English and to encourage terrorist activity. Extremists are not merely making use of the internet for propaganda and recruitment, they are also using cyberspace to conduct operations. The second pro to big data is early detection and verification. With the vast amounts of information the government is collecting on people, they can search and cross-reference existing information to find clues or possible connections to terrorist groups. The age of wearing a uniform for a terrorist is long gone. So, in an FCW article written by Frank Conkle on April 26, 2013, he wrote about Topsy, which is the FBI's Twitter storage management software. This is what was written. Topsy has stored every tweet since July 2010, and in the Boston investigation, its tool allowed investigators to run big data analytics of Boston-related tweets against hundreds of billions of past and present messages. Using Topsy, FBI investigators could search every reference ever made on Twitter of the word bomb in a specific region like the city of Boston and its suburbs. The third pro to big data is research. Vast amounts. This was written from the Mobile Center, a big data to knowledge center to advance human movement. Vast amounts of data characterizing human movement are available from research labs, clinics, and millions of smart modes and wearable sensors. But integration and analysis of this large quantity of mobility data are extremely challenging. The authors have established the Mobilized Center to harness these data points to improve human mobility and help lay the foundation for using data science methods in biomedicine. Now, here are some of the cons. The loss of privacy. They literally record everything on everyone in every way. Cell phones, emails, texts, tweets. If it's communication, it's being recorded. Our only refuge is the anonymity in number or the lack of distinguishable tracking points. This was recently released by the Washington Post. The National Security Agency and the FBI are tapping directly into the central servers of 9 leading photographs, emails, documents, and connection logs that enable analysts to track foreign targets according to a top-secret document obtained by the Washington Post. The program, codenamed PRISM, has not been public until now. William Benny, a former NSA official who spent more than 3 decades at the agency, said the U.S. government's mass surveillance program has become so engorged with data that they are no longer effective, losing vital intelligence in the fray. The next con is our loss of freedom. The Patriot Act is the first shining example of this loss. Here are just a few of the wordings on the updated revised statutes of the Patriot laws. Title II instructs enhanced surveillance procedures, authority to intercept wire, oral, and electronic communications relating to terrorism. Section 212, emergency disclosure of electronic communications to protect life and limb. Title III, authority for delaying the notice of the execution of a warrant. You know, when I think of the last con, it really relates to the first two. So my last con is actually a quote, and it's by Supreme Court Justice Louis D. Brandeis, and it was in 1928. They, the makers of the Constitution, conferred as against the government the right to be let alone, the most comprehensive of rights and the right most valued by civilized men. Experience should teach us to be most on our guard to protect liberty when the government purposes are beneficial. The greatest dangers to liberty lurk in the insidious encroachment by men of zeal, well-meaning but without understanding. So now we come to my opinion. Honestly, I believe in freedom, and I believe in the American way of life. I also believe in the quality of people our American justice system can produce. So I give you this opinion, because you are presented with 2 options. You must sacrifice your safety in order to promote your freedom, or you must sacrifice your freedom to promote your safety. In the light of the recent bombings, even the recent Paris attacks, I'd have to say that I can only present an option to you that I call faith. In our zeal to thwart the dangers of society, we often disregard the power of faith. In this argument, I believe we should have faith in our government. Often we disregard the respect that America has earned by being just in its causes. JFK said it best, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." So we should let this tool be utilized. Let our leaders have this measure of control and submit our worries to the field of faith. I believe that every life is sacred, and I'm not offended if my phone calls are recorded, if at the end of the day the person I'm talking to can call me back in the morning. So if we need to act, I say we force ourselves to endure a little transparency for the sake of what's left of our humanity. Thank you.